let's uh let's watch this video by Hasan on his actual main channel. Um, I'm sure everybody who, or I'm assuming most people who watch my channel know who Hasan is. Piers Morgan is just like the Maury Povich of of politics talk shows. He just brings in a bunch of people who hate each other and want to yell at each other and talk over each other, and he just puts them in a cage and lets them fight. That's kind of that's how I view Piers Morgan and his role in all this. So let's go ahead and watch this clip where Hasan's uncle Cenk Uygur uh, pops off. Let's see.
Amounts of money you're talking
You're
about.
making up crap.
Tiny amounts of money.
Yeah.
Piers, are you mental?
Do you know how much got spent? Do you know how much got spent on day one of the war?
$337 million that the Adelsons have given to Donald Trump because he
Piers,
is
welcome to my
corrupt and
club now.
easily purchasable. The Adelsons are corrupt and Israelis. The Israeli Adelsons gave Jonathan Pollard a trip on their private jet back to Israel and celebrated him like a hero because they love people betraying America for Israel.
But you don't
So the
think
reality
you
is
don't
Yeah, I mean that's all true. That's all 100% true, dude. Yeah, the Adelsons are they are trying to essentially buy our entire media apparatus. He's arguing that it's so that they can be Israel first or whatever, which I don't care if he makes that argument, because I think it probably plays better than like the reality, which is that they are hand in glove with American interests, trying to buy up, like facilitating Israeli fascism abroad goes like we are hand in hand with facilitating our own fascism here at home. Like those two things are interconnected and like completely intertwined, and they need each other to exist to an extent. So I think it's kind of a mutually beneficial thing when it comes to uh, the capital owning class when Adelson like buys up all of our news organizations and puts them under the same owner, but he's not wrong here, and it plays a lot better to do this like you're Israel first, like that type of messaging to the general public. So that's why I don't step in their way and correct them whenever they're going off like this.
I mean, that's true. Everything he said is true. I'm worried about his health.
Don't just say what I say, Hasan. Come on, dude.
Man, Jesus Christ. Let's be real. Unc, on this issue, is very good. And this is an issue where he used to scold me all the time, if you remember. So I'm glad.
I can
Full head out,
prove it.
Piers.
I can prove it.
Cenk.
I can prove
But I will say this. I understand, like I said before, this is the Maury Povich of politics, right? The Piers Morgan show. So to some extent, this is the whole point, right? These two right here, this dude cackling while this dude screams his face off, or while Cenk screams his face off. But this right here, I don't think that really, it makes you look a little too unhinged, and I don't think that it like gets your message across very, very well. That's just my personal opinion.
it. So tell me if we should put American troops or Israeli troops in. Okay, why are we putting our guys in? Ben Ferguson, that traitor, said that it was no big deal that 13 Americans died. It's a huge deal.
Never said that.
13 Americans
Yet again,
died.
make
Why do
that
you send
shit.
your goddamn
Never said it.
Israeli
Never
friends into
said
a
it.
war?
Take the
They
blood pressure
started.
meds, bro.
They
It was
started
never
it.
said by me. Never
right.
said by me.
You know
make
what?
up so much
Yeah.
shit.
Cenk,
Piers,
Cenk-
I'm never going to let anyone else on this program talk because the minute I start talking, they start interrupting and
Okay.
go, oh, Israel's the greatest, Israel's the greatest.
Okay.
They bribed all
Never
of our
said that either on this show
politicians.
today.
It is exceedingly clear.
Okay.
So stop.
This dude, by the way, he's given real toady energy. Have you guys ever seen A Christmas Story where there's that bully or whatever, Scott Farkas, I think is his name, and he has that little tiny like 2 foot tall toady next to him? That's this guy. This guy is the toady. Have you like this? Are we sure this isn't that same actor, that same person? Like he looks exactly the same. Can I pull that up? Who Scott? What? Christmas Story Toady. Okay, yeah, no, okay, sorry. Let me pull this up real quick because you guys have to see what I'm seeing right now. Where is it? Right? Am I wrong? Can I do like a split? I can't. Okay. Can you see this? This is really hard to see, I think. But if you look at this guy's face here, if you look at that guy's face right there, and then you look at this guy right here, those are the same person, right? Those are the same person. So I'm just saying that I'm a little bit confused here.
Working for Israel, you corrupt.
I love when he pops off, but on these kinds of shows, you gotta like trigger them instead.
That's
You
what
know
I
mean?
said.
That's
Stop
why
saying
when
what I
was like,
say.
You're turning red, Vinny. That turned into a clip, right?
You don't have no
Vinny,
reason to talk.
Vinny,
Just shut up.
I'm a big
Just
fan
do me a
of you.
favor.
Yeah, Hasan. Okay, sorry. This is why I don't like watching Hasan clips a lot because we do tend to have a lot of the same opinions. Or like watching it on stream a lot. I don't pre-watch any of this shit. Like it just kind of happens, and I do disagree with him on some stuff, but I think that he has inspired my worldview a pretty large amount, and so there's like a lot of my analysis tends to be like very much the same as his. So I always end up saying like the same shit that he says. So, but we'll keep watching. I do want to see more of Cenk Uygur. And
Shut
so-
up.
I'm a big
Respectfully.
fan of you, and
Okay,
and
but hold on.
I'm a
Hold
big
on.
fan
Don't
of you,
talk
so I
about-
don't want you
Bro,
to die. I feel like
you
your
say
heart pressure
9/11,
is going up. You're turning
You say.
you're
by the
turning
way,
red, Vinny.
Or even if you pop off, you gotta have like a small pop off. You can't have like a consistent pop off. You know, you let the cortisol spike. I'm with you. I'm just
Oh, yeah.
saying.
The
The
truth is,
cortisol
the
spiking.
American military has sent several thousand Marines into the area. They'll take a few more days to get there. And as we know, when there was a massive build-up before the war started, there must be a high likelihood they may get deployed. Otherwise, why would you
Yeah,
send them?
they definitely
and
will.
It may be that Trump calculates that to get to, say, the enriched uranium, he may have to use some ground forces. I hope it doesn't come to that. I think it would be
I
a
don't know.
disaster, but we shall
So
see.
why not Israeli ground forces?
But we shall see. You know, think about
Why not Israeli ground forces?
and Israeli ground
Why
forces.
is that not even being discussed in Washington?
It's so funny. Yeah, Trump
I mean, it's a good
calculates
point.
is a hilarious statement. Trump does not calculate. Trump is not even literate.
Well, you just mentioned
Why
it.
are we so subservient to Israel
All right.
that we don't even have a national discussion
You
about
really
should it
are
be our
obsessed
troops
with Israel.
or should it
It's
be
kinda
Israel's
scary.
troops?
Cenk, you know,
Oh,
sometimes.
so you're saying send in Americans,
No,
right?
but Cenk,
They
sometimes
all-
you gotta
I
be-
just
guys
said
like
it's
Ben
Cenk,
Ferguson,
sometimes
Ray Shapiro,
you hate Israel.
and Mark
Sometimes,
Levin all
Cenk.
want to send in Americans to die
All right.
because they think Israelis are superior
All
to
right.
us, and they
Okay.
think the Israeli lives are so important.
Anti-Semitism
82% of Israelis
101.
wanted this
Time
war.
out here.
Only 21% of Americans wanted this war.
Okay.
We don't want this
All
war.
right,
The
Cenk.
only people who want this war are the Israelis. They should fight their own goddamn war.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of true though. That is all kind of true. He's gonna deflect and say anti-Semitism, but fortunately we live in a post October 7th reality at this point where anti-Semitism posting just doesn't really work anymore. So he's going to claim anti-Semitism, and most average people are going to hear that and be like, I'm sure. Yeah, definitely. Oh, totally, dude. Yeah, anti-Semitism. Like, so, and there are some people who like do the whole dual loyalty thing in like a real like anti-Semitic way or whatever. But I do think most people are just stating the obvious, and that is that Israel has a very significant hold on the American levers of power. And it's not like they got that by being Jews or whatever. They got that because we as Americans allowed them to, because we saw Israel's Israel being a unsinkable aircraft carrier or whatever in the Middle East as a beneficial goal of American colonialism. Like so it's a give and take. It's a mutually, a mutual relationship that we have. But in the end, America is the global superpower and can make these decisions. Like they can decide whether to send American troops or not. They just think that it's worth it to send American troops to go die for the state of Israel. Like our American capitalists, that's what they think.
You've made
And
your
stop
point.
having Americans killed on behalf of stupid,
All right.
irrelevant,
Anti-Semitism
disgusting
101, folks.
Israel.
Cenk, for the
Pop off, Unc. Ironic how this panel views your uncle as delusional. Well, because for stupid people that don't understand what he's saying, the only thing that they will respond to is aesthetics, right? Like they're only seeing the shapes and colors. And from an aesthetic perspective, they see a brown man, yelling at a white man who's laughing. Even if the statements being uttered by Cenk are
Well, that's why I said it's not like, I don't think that it'll play that well, even if everything he's saying is correct. But like I said, Piers Morgan is just the Maury Povich of like political commentary. Like, so it's more about the fighting than it is about the actual politics and the message. And I feel like the people who watch that show, like nobody watches Maury Povich to see like actual resolutions of conflicts, right? They tune into Maury Povich to watch the train wreck and watch people yell at each other. Um, and so I think it's the same thing with Piers Morgan. I think people just watch it to watch people sit around and get mad at each other and yell at each other. That's why, like, I think it's one of the most vapid and pointless shows on the fucking internet. But it is good content, I guess. Um, I'll at least watch through this next segment. I don't need to see Hasan do his like previous stuff or whatever. His videos are also nicely edited.
Objectively sane and objectively correct. A lot of dumb people, unfortunately, will only look at the way he carries himself. Look, what a lunatic. Having Cenk on the show is a liability. Like, Cenk loves America. Literally has an Israeli flag on his chest talking about America first. Oh,
Yeah.
finally, there's one person.
Okay, Hasan said things he claims that are anti-Semitic. That's not at all true. But he says it. He says that's why Abdul El-Said, a Democrat running for office in Michigan, is not allowed to campaign with him, is not allowed to support him. Why do they do that? Isolate.
He's defending his nephew, which is nice because a lot of the things that I see between Cenk and Hasan are Cenk yelling at his nephew. Which I don't think Hasan cares that much about. I mean, I think that he kind of he's probably separates his political and personal life to some extent. So I doubt that that really necessarily impacts their relationship as family or whatever. But yeah, it is nice to have Cenk finally, for once, be on the same side as Hasan on an issue, which I think Cenk has always generally been pretty good about American imperialism, like in general. It's just I don't think he ever connects it to American capitalism because he's a capitalist, and that's where he runs into lots of troubles and contradictions in his ideology.
Israel's critics and try to pretend that they're toxic and eliminate them from the national conversation so that no one can criticize Israel. This is a game that they've done to average Americans, to people in the media, even more.
You don't like going on Piers? I mean, I really appreciated the space that he gave to the pro-Palestinian side, even if it was for like self-invested reasons in the beginning, right?
That's true. That's true. So having a Maury Povich type political sphere like Piers Morgan or whatever, it does have some benefits because they will allow, you know, they will allow voices into the conversation that normally would not be allowed by our media. They'll do that specifically for the content. And it does help get the message out from these perspectives that are usually not allowed to exist on major news networks. So for that, I do agree that there is like some benefit to that. Now, that doesn't change the fact that I'm probably not ever going to watch Piers Morgan for anything other than content because I don't feel like I get anything out of it. But
right after October 7, I was willing to go anywhere and everywhere I can where I could like say the truth. Any platform that I could go on to say the truth, I would go on. And if you remember, I would go on those shows.
What I'm trying to
let's go up to here.
1 million Uyghur Muslims.
Oh my God, Douglas Murray. See, this is what I mean.
He's gonna talk to Cenk Uygur. His last name is Uygur, right? Like, isn't that the same as the Uyghur Muslims in China? Because I thought he had family. I'm pretty sure Hasan has family in China, and I thought that they were like essentially the quote unquote discriminated against Muslims. And yeah, I'm sure there is some, human rights violations and discrimination against those Muslims. I mean, anti-Muslim hate is generally universal. Even it even exists, I think, in China, to an extent. I don't think it's nearly as bad in China as it is here in America. But like, I don't think this white dude should be telling Cenk Uygur about the Uyghur Muslims in China or whatever.
I would not be able to remain calm in front of Douglas Murray. I would not be able to hold my composure. I would not be able to remain calm. I would lose my I'd be like, you're literally a Nazi. You wrote numerous articles in defense of nationalism. You said that previous attempts of Hitlerian nationalism should not ruin the modern attempts of nationalism in the UK. You're an unbelievably Islamophobic person, and here you have the
Okay.
audacity.
I don't need to hear Hasan go off on this.